Pozdrav svima i dobrodošli u Tipsy Podcast. Danas za vas imamo jednu jako specijalnu epizodu. Napravit ćemo prvi podcast na engleskom jeziku. Naime, gost nam je brand ambasador Giffard Europe i čovjek je bio toliko ljubazan da nam je ustupio priliku da se dođe ovdje i gostuje. Tako da, Matteo, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Tipsy Podcast.
Dobar dan.
It was a nice masterclass.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. Always a pleasure to be back in Croatia. So okay. I've been for the first time last year, and I've been waiting and counting the days to be back, and finally I did it. Okay. So unfortunately not for so long time, but it's gonna be good enough to stop the desire,
Tomorrow you're going to Split, right?
Tomorrow to Split, yes, for the first time.
For the first time?
First time.
Nice.
Never been.
I told you, before we start, we need to make a toast for the good podcast.
Let's do it.
This is a pear.
Pear, beautiful.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my favorite flavors.
Really?
I cannot eat pear solid as a fruit, but distillate spirits and others, it's amazing.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Na zdravi. Beautiful. Now we are going to talk a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, and how did you start it to become a brand ambassador for the Giffard Europe?
Sure. So basically, I think it's a very nice story. So I would like to start with this, and I think also it's not the usual default story that usually happen. But yeah, everything started while I was in UK. So I've been before to be ambassador anyway. I've been bartending for many years.
Okay. And
any level of bar, any kind of bar, from the disco to the super elegant to the hotel to the restaurant. I work also a lot in the floor. So I, let's say, discovered the hospitality industry quite a lot, doing it in Italy because I'm originally from Italy, from Rome, as you know. Then I moved to UK, then I moved to Japan, then I moved to Hungary, so close by the beautiful Balkans. And then I've been back to UK. So for the second time that I was in UK, it was a moment that I was looking a little bit of visibility. I was trying to, let's say, collect the fruit that I have been planting for the last 10 years and more. So in that moment happened that a good friend of mine recommended me to join the Giffard West Cup, which is the international competition of Giffard that runs every 2 years. So he recommended me because he had a great experience, and I was there. I saw the flyer coming out, said, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try, especially because the challenge was very interesting, and really I felt connected to the challenge because
what was the challenge?
In that moment I needed the challenge is less is more. Okay. Make a drink with 2 main ingredients. So no more.
That's all.
That's it. So, and that it was pretty basic, pretty simple, but at the same time quite difficult to elevate the concepts. So plus less is more, like it means something minimalistic, original, really part of my personality. So I feel a very simple person that enjoys the simple things. So I felt a nice stimulation, like my creativity suddenly switched on. I said, yes, I'm gonna go for it. You recommended me. The challenge looks interesting. I'm gonna go for it. So I joined the competition. I was in UK, as I said. I started to do all the process, starting from the regional selections. So I went to Manchester, where we did the regional selection. I eventually won it. I went to down south in London to do the national final of the Giffard West Cup. And then I eventually won the national final in UK, and I've been automatically got the rights to represent UK on the global final. So in France. So I went to the global final where there was me and many other bartenders from 20 different countries in the world. And yeah, I did my competition. So basically from my side, I discovered the factory, I met the family, I saw all the Giffard team because it's a quite special event for Giffard, and I fell in love with them. So like I really enjoyed the philosophy, the people, and everything that makes Giffard. So enjoying all of this at the same time. Looks like I have done a good job at the competition. I didn't manage to win, but I arrived second to the global competition. But this was good enough for Giffard to start to check me a little bit more, like to be in their mind, on top of their mind. So
what was the did you need to make some kind of a special cocktail, like a signature cocktail or something?
Yes.
That brings you to the second place, or
Well, let's say that there was 2 challenges when I was there. One, it was the usual less is more that you bring from the first until the end. And then once you are in France, you are gonna have a second challenge, which was with Montpastil actually, and it was born to refresh. So like create a refreshing drink with Montpastil.
Which you are going to create right now.
Let's create it. I'm going to create a very simple one. So like a Montpastil martini on the rocks.
Okay.
So yeah, Montpastil on the rocks is going to for sure help our throats during this nice conversation. But yeah.
So we got the Montpastil and sparkling water. That's all.
Why? A little splash. You can go.
A little
splash. Yeah, not too much. Let's keep it concentrate.
You say stop.
That's it.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah, concentrate. Eventually you can put more, but I like to feel the Montpastil on and I'm gonna use my special bar spoon. This is a very special one.
We were in a rush, so we didn't prepare it, but it's okay.
You want me to steal your one?
Yes, of course.
That's it. Let's do it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much once again.
No problem. Thank you.
But yeah, to finish and to answer your question, I did this competition. Like, looks like I went pretty well. So Giffard started to keep on eyes on me. I fell in love with them. I arrived second, and from one side I felt like I didn't win. What a shame! I arrived so close after all, and I didn't win. But then I start to think, okay, Giffard at the moment has got a beautiful product, which I had the chance to discover in the 6 months of all the process. Has got a beautiful team. On the streets, it's good, but it's missing that link that is gonna bring all this beautiful thing together, like the company, the product, and the client, so bartender, baristas, and all the professionals of our industry. So we start to have a little collaboration with Giffard, like occasional collaboration, like trade show, like Imbibe in London, Roma Bar Show in Italy. And then I felt good, like I had a little taste, a test, let's say. I felt good and I said, you know what, I should go for it. I should at least try, because another opportunity like that, a brand with so much potential, which doesn't have yet a position as an ambassador, is going to be very difficult to find another time. Plus that I like it. So plus that I'm going to do it properly with passion. So I said, I'm going to try. I start to speak with a couple of contacts inside the company. And then I eventually arrived to negotiate with Bruno Giffard. So basically for Giffard was a new thing. So they didn't have a brand ambassador before than me. So I basically been the first brand ambassador of Giffard, and without applying to any job position. Basically I proposed from the beginning what were my idea, what I wanted to do in the company, what were all the good things that I could bring, like showing all my motivation and my ideas, visions, which some were good, some less. I was still a bartender, it wasn't really what I'm doing now, but I proposed myself, I want to do this, I am gonna do this is what the benefit that we are gonna collect, and talking directly with the owner of the company, so with Bruno Giffard. And after a few months of conversation, we agreed, so we got all the pieces in place. And I started to be the brand ambassador of Giffard. And on my email, I literally wrote, whichever country in the world, what you think, wherever you want, I'm gonna do it. I want to work with you. I'm ready to anything. If you want, send me the other side of the world. I want to work with you. And since
the whole plan was actually your idea.
Yeah,
so, I mean, they didn't have any plans for your role, right?
No, there wasn't a position designed, there wasn't someone, we are looking for brand ambassador, apply with your CV and so on. Probably it was somewhere in their mind, but maybe they needed someone who could concretize this. And of course, with the collaboration of teams, some colleagues that still nowadays, for example, Jeremy and other colleagues they help me. So like they also recognize the potential of having a person communicating, because at the end of the day, I'm communicating about what we do. I don't do nothing special. I'm just explaining all the beautiful things that Giffard does. And they help me. We perfection a little bit the characteristic of the position. And then I go for it.
Okay,
so
that's brutal, yeah.
Do you want to guess when I started?
That was my next question. Actually, a
You
question
guess.
before that was, how old are you?
I look old because this life is pretty tough.
You don't look old. Come on.
No, I am 29 this year.
29.
So I'm gonna be 29 in July.
Okay, I would like, I was going to say 30.
Okay, you are very kind and you are pretty correct.
So how does, you're doing it for how long?
Well, now I started in 2020, so 4 of April 2020.
Can it be worse?
No, it cannot be worse. Like actually, after like, you know, all the process, finally, we agreed, we signed the contract, everything ready to go. Suddenly, the less predictable things in the world happen, COVID arriving to Europe.
Come on.
Probably it's gonna arrive end of February, beginning of March. In the first country, I was in UK, April, basically the week that I should start. Full lockdown all around Europe, panic, nobody knew nothing. So
and your job is to travel and spread the word.
Is to travel, to spread the word, stay inside bar, all bar closed, all restaurant closed. Suddenly, zero. Like our industry has been completely blocked.
Fuck.
But the good things that I would like to mention, why sometimes people say, but why you are pushing so much and so on? Because I think Giffard deserves this. So to give you an example, when we were COVID, okay? So I just signed my contracts, didn't have any time of work done. So like still didn't pass my probation, nothing. All the company in the world, suddenly the turnover arrives to zero because no more sales, no more bar, anything. And I said, okay, for sure, they are never gonna let me in now. So my beautiful dream is gonna finish before to start, actually. And Giffard instead gave me a great proof of trusted person, you know, like a one-word person. Like they said that I would start. And even though with COVID, even though I didn't know I have any skills yet, so I was still a bartender, all Europe closed, super uncertain future. They kept strong and said, okay, we have a word. So we can tell you that you enter because you already left your job. So we agree on this and you're going to respect on that. So even though with COVID, we started to work together and they didn't retreat, you know, where most of the company were firing people because, of course, there was problem for the company as well. Giffard did the extra effort to keep me on board with no skills, in probably the most tragic moment for the hospitality industry of the last decades. I don't know.
Yeah, that's beautiful because as I heard, they don't have, you don't have your products in the stores, right?
Well, let's say that sometimes we have, but we are mostly for professionals, you know, like we are working on trade, bars, restaurants, whichever places on trade. We are not really on the off trade. Of course, sometimes can happen, but our product is for bartender. We want to be the choice of bartender. And then the bartender is going to choose our product and then through the cocktail is going to arrive to end customer. But normally except for Montpastil, like all our syrups, liqueur and fruit for mix are more targeting bartender to be chosen by bartender. And then the client is going to enjoy a beautiful cocktail with our products through the hands of the bartender, let's say. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Basically, we were very depending on bar.
So you have now you're hearing 2 full years behind you. So how does the one day in your life looks like?
Well, for sure I have to change a lot myself. So I've been bartending, okay? Nightlife, working until late, get up late, finish late, you know, all these kind of things. So my day now starts very early, so starts at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m., like to do all the process to activate the day, let's say. But yeah, most of the things, what I'm doing is planning some events, which it could be a masterclass, it could be some kind of activation in bars, it could be a trade show, it could be whichever things brings the brand to be alive. So I'm spending a good amount of time planning that. and the other time executing that. So basically I am between the two, organizing, making all the things going on the right direction, and then I'm executing, planning, executing this. So basically my day is speaking with bartender of all around Europe, which it's very interesting. It's opening a lot my mind, because from Portugal to the Baltics, it's completely different mindset, completely different culture. Even though we are in the same continent, the culture is completely different. So I have the chance to speak with so many different cultures, so many different personality, and so on, really helps me a lot. But yeah, basically my daily is to speak about Giffards with any kind of bartender in any country of Europe, in any kind of circumstances, or in 5 minutes, or in 3 hours, as we did today. So, but yeah, like that's my daily. Engaging with the industry, staying there present, showing that Giffard is here. We are here to share what we do, how we do it, and to build relationship and to reflect our familiar approach, connecting really with people and stay close with each other.
And you're doing it pretty good, trust me. I mean, this is the really nice thing, because you don't speak too fast, because some people speak English well, some people don't. So it's kind of in the middle. And I like it this time, because we could do some. I needed to do one cocktail. I
called him. I called him and said, brother, please come be in the bar. It's your time. It's your time.
I like challenges.
Let's do it.
So you've been traveling a lot, and what are the biggest differences? I mean, you've been to Croatia 2 times. What do you think? What do you see as a difference, like here and I don't know in Portugal? In the bartending.
Okay, so I would say that maybe in terms of technical difference, there isn't too much. Okay, I think both are emerging markets. Okay, probably Portugal, it's a little bit in front of Croatia, maybe 2-3 years in front of Croatia. But yeah, for the rest, very similar. So still both places, very touristic places that has got a very big focus on the beach side, which grows a lot of the economy of the bar, of our industry in general. I see Portugal has got a bit more South American kind of influence, African as well. So of course, coming from Brazil, like there is a lot of
relaxed more.
It's more relaxed like that. Here in Croatia, I feel the people a little bit more precise, a little bit, schematic. Okay, I see Portugal a bit more freestyle. I see Croatia a little bit more schematic, more or less. But overall, I feel a lot of similarities in general. And maybe Portugal, it's a little bit more, couple of years in front in terms of development and growth of the bar level, let's say. But both very interesting market, both small countries, but very well performing one. So
so knowledge is here. We just need to make it work. So
that's it.
As a experienced bartender, what would you say to some young bartender where he can learn those skills and how he can improve in the future?
Okay, so what I would say to young bartender, first of all, do not follow the money. So I never follow the money in my life. Why? Because if you follow the money, you are gonna put a huge limit in front of you in terms of learning, especially if you are young, like between the 20 and 30. Still now, like between the 20 and 30s, for me, you have to be like a sponge, like try as much as things as possible, experiment as much as possible, make as much as mistake as possible, travel as much as possible, learn language, try to understand the vision of others. So like open your brain, like make your brain a very open and a very spongy, able to absorb. So, and sometimes, like money is gonna stop you because you choose where to work based on the salary, which for me is the worst choice that you could do. Like choose the bar where to work based on how much you can learn. Choose your master, like choose who's gonna teach you. Like go in a place where you want to learn from that person, and this is how you're gonna grow. So that's the only way, because you have to learn somewhere. Where you are gonna learn? Where there is someone that is ready and it's able to teach you. And get out, keep going out of your comfort zone as much as possible. Like, I'm still, every day I'm out of my comfort zone still now. So do not stick on the same things. Do not say, okay, but here is good, I'm comfortable, I have my friends, I have my bubble, so I'm good. That one is good now, you're gonna feel good this year, but in 20 years, you're gonna say, I should have gone out.
Yeah.
Or at least I am still very young, so I do not know what is gonna happen. If all of my philosophy is gonna bring result, but what is sure is that I never worked for money. I always worked for learning. Still now I'm doing that, and choosing well the master and keep going out of your comfort zone. Take challenge that makes your life a little bit more difficult, you know? Like sometimes you have a choice. The easy way or the difficult way. Personally, I always take the difficult way, but so I feel a pretty good one, and I feel pretty well. Like I feel I did a good choice, and that's it. So keep learning, keep moving, do not stop, especially if you are young. Like use your energy, because to rest, to be comfortable, to be lazy, you're gonna have time later, you know? Like now is the time to push and give 100% that you can, because now you are planting the seeds. If you don't, more seeds you plant, and better chance to collect fruit you're gonna have. If you just put one, you have one shot. Maybe it's gonna be good, but there is also a very good chance that maybe it's not gonna become never a flower or a fruit. So
that's a great point.
Push, choose well your master, and get out of your comfort zone. Unblock your brain, because there is no absolute truth in the world, you know? Like there is some people that think that it should be, and that's their culture, that's their vision. So it's good. That's why I went to Japan. Mm-hmm. So I went to Japan mostly working for free. So like I wasn't getting salary. So I had my expenses paid, and I was 21. I went 21, the other side of the world. Why? Just because I wanted to see the same glass, like the same thing, literally, but with a completely different perspective. To unblock as much as possible, to be ready to absorb all in the between. So
how is the bar scene in Japan?
Very different.
I saw it on the social media there. Like I never seen something like that in Europe or even in the United States. Yeah. Because it's so precise, you know.
That's
like that peel of orange
absolutely
is cut and 1 millimeter and no more.
That's
and no
it.
less.
That's it. It's exactly like that. I struggled, to be honest, like at the beginning especially. I mean, because
you cannot be not struggling.
I struggled because being an Italian, you know, like we are not very keen on respecting rules. We are not very schematic, you know, like we are more freestyle, you know, like we are a very fluctuating shapes. But yeah, like I arrived there and I'm very motivated. I was very curious, especially like this is also what I recommend to young bartenders, to be curious, like dig deeper the things, discover something. Like if you do not know something, if you read a label and you don't know what is it, do not let it pass, you know, like take the Google. Now we have so many tools to discover. Get in it, discover, get curious on as much thing as possible. But yeah, I arrived to Japan very curious, and it was pretty impactful. But yeah, it was very interesting. And but yeah, like Japan, even though from our perspective in Europe, we see them very precise on cocktail making, like the technical aspect of making cocktail. The truth is that they have much more care about the details of the hospitality. In Japan, it's all about hospitality, you know. The drink, of course, is perfectly balanced. They make millimeters and things, but the real special thing is the hospitality. How you're gonna be welcomed, how you're gonna be treated every single minute of your time there. So like this is what is gonna be mind-blowing. Like you are gonna feel a king to whichever place you go, from the most humble street food shop to the most prestigious bar or hotel or whichever other restaurant and so on.
Amazing.
You are gonna always feel a special person.
In which way are they like here or in Italy or in Serbia? Are the bartenders like talking to you, like joking on everything, or are just like pure professionals that make you feel perfect?
No, they are quite engaging. So of course they know because training that being careful about the customer, it means that you have to be able to read also what's happening in the brain of the customer. So basically, if they see you overall, if they see you open to conversation, maybe they understand that you're a bartender, that you have a lot of curiosity, they are gonna start to talk a bit more on the technical side. Or if they see you that you're not in the mood, or we are with a girl that you want to be more on your own, they are not gonna disturb you. They are very good psychologists, or this is what I've been doing because I was there not making cocktail. So all the time that I've been working in bars in Japan, I didn't make cocktail. So what I've been doing is just welcome the people, look after them, taking order, entertain them, look after detail if they needed something over and over, like talking for hours with any kind of people from all around the world. But yeah, they are very good psychologists. They can understand what's your status in that moment, and then they are gonna relate themselves to you. But with words, but also in Japan, another thing that I have realized is that communication is not only with words. So like I could communicate with people speaking a completely different language, not even one letter in common. So sometimes they didn't speak English, some did, some didn't, and we were communicating in much different way. Like in many different way. I could understand them and they could understand me, even though we didn't have the words, the sentences built. With feeling, with a smile, with your eyes, with your body language in general, showing like the truth is that if you want to communicate, you can communicate in many different forms. It's not just word. Or sometimes, between colleagues, between relationship, like with your wife, maybe you speak the same language. Yeah. You know exactly every single thing of the other, but sometimes the communication is in conflict. You feel not understood, or she feel that you are not understanding her. And you're speaking the same language. Yeah. There, sometimes without words, just with all the rest, we could communicate a lot, and they can understand that. They are also, I feel, quite sensitive to this. Like to feel the people and to relate themselves.
So, like in other words, they respect you, but you need to respect them. That's like
for sure. Like respect is very important in Japan, like at each level.
Okay. So, where have you been there before Japan?
I was in UK. So UK. The first tranche in UK, then Japan, then Hungary, and then UK again, and now Portugal.
You're not married.
Not yet. I'm working in progress. Let's see if something will happen.
Good luck to that.
Thank you so much. And you?
I'm not married still, but pretty soon.
Work in progress as well.
Work in progress, yeah. So
lovely.
You are experienced bartender, and I assume that you have a lot of signature cocktails made by yourself, of course. How do you come to the conclusion? What can you put inside? Which kind of liquor? Which kind of syrup? What's your base? How do you decide at the end which glass? Can you give us a little bit of perspective?
Well, let's start from the fact that now I'm not involved on making drink every day. Okay, so like I am doing a little bit less. But said that, I would say first of all is to know very well the flavors. So, like if you know well how it tastes like one fruit, or how it tastes like one flower, or how it tastes like any ingredient. So like your palate has to be trained. Like before, I was training a lot my palate. I was experimenting, trying even things that I think didn't like, or any new thing that I saw. Keep trying, keep training the palate. Palate can be actually trained. It's like as you go to the gym and you train your muscle, you can train your palate in the exact same way. So I trained a lot my palate, especially back on the day. And now I feel very confident with the flavor, like I have a very clear picture of that flavor in my archive, let's say, in my memory, on my palate, I can feel that flavor very, 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 very clearly. So once said that, I did also a lot of experimentation in the past. So I more or less have some guideline of what works with what. and so on. And yeah, like basically I use all my experience, put it together and find best things. So like very often I get the pairing of flavors spot on very quick. Sometimes I have one idea and it's completely like when I put it together is nothing in common with what I was expecting. But another thing that I do is also to try to to get inspired on the daily, you know, like when you go to the coffee shop, when you go to the restaurant, when you go to the market, I try always to get inspired, you know, like to not just to eat, but to eat, tasting what I'm eating or smelling the fruit that I see or in the nature if I see herbs, you know, always to have to keep the sense of taste and sense of smell very, very linked and very active, you know, like to do not make them fall asleep. Because this is not, it can sound obvious, but most of the people do not really pay attention about flavors. You know, like most of the people, when they, not professional, people in general, when they eat, when they drink, they just do it for needs. You know, like they don't do it for the experience. And so like the brain is not focused on picking information about what you're tasting and so on. And if you're not picking, you cannot store that information. So I tried always to pick new information and store it. And then let's say after many, many years and I've worked in many different bars, more or less, you know, the rules of the game. So what I learned is that experience, you cannot speed up. You can speed up the knowledge. You can speed up the skills because you can study a lot and you can speed up. You can speed up the skills. You can practice a lot and you can speed it up, but you cannot speed up the experience. So like the experience is something that you have to wait the time for it, and there is nothing that you can do. You can just select well which experience to have, but the time then is gonna do the job. So it's gonna give you all the weapon that you need to do that. But yeah, let's say this is, I use all my experience, I use all my thing, and when I have some doubts, I do not let the doubts there. So I'm gonna go for it and see, you know, like if I have a curiosity or a weird idea, I'm gonna taste it, I'm gonna see how it reacts. If it's good, I discover something new. If not, I still discovered something new and I'm gonna put in my archive, you know, and next time I have one more information for the next drink, for the next cocktail, for the next menu, for the next event, for the next whatever is the occasion, basically. So,
we will see it tonight.
Let's see.
Is more ice?
It's okay. Enough ice. The ice is enough.
It's okay. It's okay. So, do you have any favorite spirits as a base for the cocktail?
Okay. Actually, in terms of favorites, that's a good question. I would say I like flavorful spirits. I like aromatic spirits, which doesn't mean my favorite, maybe doesn't mean the one that I use the most. Okay. So, but for example, one of my favorite product is Pisco. I love Pisco because it's very aromatic. So it's for me, it's a very prestigious ingredient, and also with Giffard, with the flavor of fruit and flowers, you know, like it works very well. So I like a lot to use Pisco because it brings a lot of value into the drink and it's a little bit not valorized. Like it could be much more valorized, I think. I like to work with cognac as well, which, as I said, maybe it's not the one that I use the most, but I like maybe grapes. Maybe now thinking the two things are grapes. So grapes is a very special fruit. So yeah, I would say Pisco, cognac, I like a lot. But yeah, probably I mix a lot with gin and with rum are probably the one that I use the most. And I both like them both. Yeah.
So what are the latest trends in the bartending, in the liquor, in the spirit industry? Do you have any? Where do you actually read about it, or you just hear it from the field?
Well, let's say that the first the first media that I use is actually bartender, because as we said at the beginning, I am every day, even though I have a quite, you know, like being a European brand ambassador, you have a lot of office work to do, you have a lot of travel to do, you have a lot of things. Even though all of this, I spend a lot of time on the street, like literally bar by bar, meeting people, new people, visiting old customer, new customer, girlfriend, new friends. So I'm spending a lot of time with the community physically, okay? And yeah, basically they are my first media. Like I listen with them, I ask questions, like we chat, we have always, a nice drink, couple of exchanging of opinion. And, sometimes some of them switch me on some new, okay, this is becoming a thing because this guy told me, that guy told me, the other told me, so maybe, sorry, so maybe it's becoming a real thing. And
so what are those things?
Well, what I think at the moment, I am seeing for sure, as we said also today during the masterclass, low ABV, which is not a news, but I'm seeing more and more people making low ABV drinks. And because the trend, of course, like how it works for me, the trend, you have first, like the pioneer, like that they are going to be the one that they launch it. And if they are good, if they are influent people, your influence bars or influent brand or whatever, they are going to have like a quick explosion, like boom, seems like that suddenly it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not the reality, maybe it's just, social media, more the surface of it. Then that trend is going to take time to go deeper to each stage of our industry, okay, to each level of our industry. And low ABV is not a new trend, but now I'm feeling it implemented.
Yeah.
So now I'm feeling that probably started 4 or 5 years ago, but now I'm seeing it implemented inside inside the mass, okay, and not on the niche, inside the mass. So low ABV, I'm seeing a lot non-alcoholics, which is growing well. So I was in Algarve, which is the south of Portugal, a couple of weeks ago, and I was chatting with some customer, and there was some bar, very nice cocktail bar, very skilled bartender. They told me I'm selling more non-alcoholics than alcoholics. I say, wow. So I know that it's growing, but I was quite surprised, and it's a very nice place. So why this? Because our industry, the reality is that it's growing. More the industry is growing, more is going to be diverse the audience that we are going to speak. Because before it was just the connoisseur, it was just the guy who lived in America. But now we are talking with normal people, like with my father, with your mother. So we are talking with so many different kind of client. We are getting much more inclusive, and we are catching a vast variety of client. So they are getting more educated. So this it means that they want to have, and each of them has got different needs. Okay. So this it means that we need to answer to their needs, and being new needs are alcohol free or low ABV, because still people want, because at the end cocktail are good. It's the tool that we use in our industry, but the reality is that what is really important, or what the customer are looking for, is really the experience.
Yes.
So different kind of client, different needs, different requirements, but they are looking for the same experience.
Yeah,
so,
people, when we say non-alcoholic cocktail, people usually get it wrong completely, because what we saw on the coast, on somewhere else, how do they do it? They do it for the kids. They just like pour it like 1 deciliter of pineapple, 1 deciliter of sparkling water, and 1 deciliter of something else. They put a slice of pineapple in the glass, and that's it. So that's not the point.
That's not the point.
The point is that we have non-alcoholic gin or vodka, and we can work with that with non-alcoholic liqueurs.
Yeah.
And mix it together and make a nice drink.
Absolutely, yes.
You will enjoy it, and you will not get wasted.
And the important thing is that, as you said, like, I'm not looking for a pineapple juice. I'm looking for the same kind of experience. I'm looking to experience your same kind of craft.
Yes.
I do not want to be treated like a children, as you said, like you use a very important things. So I do not want to feel like a children. I want to feel like an adult, and an adult wants to drink a non-alcoholic cocktail. But also bartender, we need to change first,
Of
because
course, yeah.
we've been also very close-minded about, you know. I remember I'm guilty. I'm guilty when I was in the bar many years ago. When someone asked me a non-alcoholic, I was very, you know, I have to make a non-alcoholic, doesn't even worth my effort. I was guilty, one of that. But then with the time you understand that it's important to listen the customer first and answer their needs. So I would say, in terms, to go back to your original question, low ABV, non-alcoholics are for sure growing a lot. In general, premiumization, okay? So because, as we said, now we are growing, the whole industry are growing, so customer knows more and more about that, drinks more and more, and can recognize more and more what is good and what is less. So overall, people are looking for more qualitative option at each level. Bartender are looking for more qualitative product. Customer are looking for more qualitative cocktail / experience. So these probably are the major trends. Then of course there is other macro trend like online sales. So like after lockdown, there is been a very big acceleration on the online e-commerce also in our industry. So which translated it could be accessibility. So now that we discovered that we can do all these things online, so you can access to many different products online. So this is gonna help to have better selections, more options, more weapon for the creativity of bartenders. And that's it, I would say for now, this could be what I'm feeling is working very well.
How about mezcals and tequilas?
Mezcal and tequila, I think, especially in some countries, are raising a lot. So like I remember in Italy, I left Italy almost 10 years ago. And when I was leaving Italy, was the beginning of the race. And now mezcal and tequila in Italy, it's huge. Like one of the main market. And also UK, when I was already 5 years ago, where it was already pretty big. And now, yes, I'm seeing probably, if you are asking, I'm guessing because you are seeing something moving also across the Balkans, probably, or at least Croatia.
Yeah, I'm seeing, but mostly strangers who came here from the States or like Great Britain. They like to drink, but our people,
not yet.
They are not used to it yet.
Unfortunately, tequila had got a very bad cruise. You know, like,
I know,
because unfortunately we've been killing such a great category for years. You know, shots of tequila, shots. Tequila, it's been associated, maybe still now, it's associated to, you know, drunk, party, hangovers, headaches and bad feelings. Lime and salt. Instead, tequila, it's a very prestigious spirits, which has got a great flavor, great added value. It's really bringing a lot of things. So, but yeah, I think it's gonna take time, you know, like with time. Good things, as I said today at the masterclass, good things takes time. So we are on the right direction. Sooner or later, it's gonna arrive also here. In Portugal, anyway, it's doing well. In Spain, it's doing well. In Italy, it's huge. In the north, especially UK, is doing very well. I'm guessing also in other central country, probably now this wave is gonna reach also Croatia and the Balkans in general.
Yeah, it's coming. Fine bartending, it's coming here. I mean, it's here for a lot of years, but it's not like the owners would like to now have at least one nice bartender who knows how to make a drink.
And that's good.
Yeah, that's really good thing, because you know, I mean, it's not only the good drink; it's the hospitality. You know,
it is.
If I'm your guest, if you came to me in the bad mood, like, bro, I don't even want to drink. You know?
Yeah, that's it. I'm not coming for the drink. Like, I'm coming for all the rest, actually.
Yeah.
But that's what you said. An interesting thing. What I think is that also bar owners should valorize us a bit more, and now they are starting to valorize more. Why? Because there is a good demand. And you need to be able to answer that demand. You need to be able to provide a good cocktail, because if not, you are out of the market. Yeah. So you need someone who's got skills to deliver that kind of experience. And so maybe our job, the consideration of our job could be also elevated, maybe better salaries, maybe better conditions, maybe better working environment, because the reality is that we still often facing very tough environments, salary that are not so great, not as big consideration.
Big working hours. Yeah. That's all.
So maybe now having the customer requiring good service and good quality drink, you need good quality stuff, and maybe all this process is gonna bring us to elevate all ourselves in different ways, which is great. We deserve it because I don't know if this happens in other industry. Fortunately and unfortunately, I never had the chance to do something different. I always been in the hospitality. Okay. Yeah. So in a way or another, now with brand ambassador, I'm taking some other different directions, but I never had the chance to discover other industry at all. So fortunately and unfortunately, I've always been in this industry. And what I can say is that probably our industry is I feel a huge passion, like really the fuel of our industry. It's been in the end of the people working inside, many times I felt that the main motivation of bartender is never been the great lifestyle that they can have, because they work in the night. It's quite tough, There has never been the salary. They are not becoming rich being a bartender, but the passion, it's really been the fuel of the industry, which then brought us where we are now, and we are in a pretty good shape. So it would be good now to have also a reward for thousands, millions of bartenders all around the world that did it so far for passion, but now maybe doing now also for economical reason or conditions, good working conditions, and so on. We deserve it. We are at that point to get back what we give to the industry for many years, I would say. This is my humble opinion. Then maybe for sure everybody works with passion, but the real fuel on bartender has always been the extra passion that we had, like to keep pushing and do not give up. Because there wasn't much more to catch, except the valorization, the appreciation of the clients, the motivation from them, and your own passion. There wasn't so much to absorb. But now, hopefully, things are gonna change because the whole industry is better and is growing, and we can have a better future for everybody because we deserve it, I think.
That's a great point. But let me get back to the brand ambassador thing. What are the toughest challenges that you have
in my job?
Yeah. They don't need to be like bad. What's the hard thing that you need to focus on, work on, and
it's really let's split it in two. Like the first part is technical part. So like, for example, like at the beginning, now I'm getting better, but at the beginning, I never used a computer before. I never sent an email. I never sent agendas, emails to write clear, to communicate, to know. I never did that. So like at the beginning, I needed to get on top of all of this. And nowadays I don't think that I'm personally not facing major challenges, rather than the worries to make the time of the people that are listening me worth it. So like I'm always thinking, okay, these people come to visit me, to listen me, or to do an event with me. I need to make worth their time. I need to deliver what they're expecting. I have to do not waste their time. So I want to make worth the effort of the people that are listening me, that are meeting me, that are staying with me, and so on. So this, I'm thinking a lot how to always deliver what the people expect, and if possible to surprise them. And of course it could be very wide concept, so there is a lot of things to reflect. And then like in my specific case, maybe to a challenge for sure is because when you are a brand ambassador or these kind of things, basically you have quite good freedom. Okay, so you can manage your time, you can manage your things, so you are elastic. So there is two risks on this. Like one is that you are not gonna work enough, that you're gonna get lazy, and that you're gonna just, yes, I'm gonna do it, and then you will never do it because you don't have nobody staying there. It's not that you enter and you get out. Often you work from home, often you work on the streets, like doing, visiting people, doing activations and so on. So you can risk to do not do enough because you cannot manage really your time and you can get lazier. Or the other side is that you're gonna be overdoing, you're gonna work too much. You're gonna never stop working because as nobody's gonna tell you when to start, nobody's gonna tell you when to finish. So it's up to you. And I think a good challenge is the time management. So like you need to learn how to manage your time. You need to learn how to push when you have to push, but also recover when you should recover, like how to balance, to find the right balance. Because it's very easy do not do enough, but it's also very easy to do too much, okay? To really lose the balance and then lose the energy, because if you're gonna risk a burnout or something, and then this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. Yes. So this is a process of building. You need to keep your energy on the long term. So yeah, my challenges are these, like trying to manage well my time, which still work in progress. I am not the greatest on this, especially over exceeding, let's say. But yeah, like this is for sure a big challenge. Then, be sure to deliver what the people expect. And now I overcame it. So now it's okay. Like all the digital part, computer, email, communication, Skypes, meetings, application. I never did it before. For me, it was a personal challenge, but now it's okay. Now I'm feeling comfortable with my technology.
Great. What's your favorite Italian meal?
Meal?
Yeah.
Bro, I cannot say nothing different than pasta. Yeah, I can eat pasta every day.
In all kind of ways,
yeah, in all kind of ways. Then I'm from Rome, so I have a couple of favorite dishes. Like probably one on top of all, it would be carbonara. Like,
of course,
like that is one of my.
We all like it here.
If I have to choose one, probably it's gonna be carbonara. Like, what do you wanna eat? Okay, give me one, and it should be okay.
How about wines? Do you drink wines?
I drink wines. Now I rediscovered a little bit more because originally I never drink wine. So like I wasn't a wine drinker. I ignore completely wines. It wasn't for me. I was having dinner, like a nice piece of meat, drinking gin tonics. So I always ignored wine. It was never something for me. But then one day I started to work in an Italian restaurant in UK, which in bar, and they had a pretty good selection of wine. So I started to get curious and I said, you know what, man, like I'm in Italy. Every time that I go back in Italy, my land, I have a huge selection of delicious liquids that I am not discovering it. I'm not experiencing it. So I'm going to start to get curious. I never studied deeply, but just tasting it, asking questions, understanding which are the kind of grapes, what are the main difference between the grapes. Just being curious, as we said at the beginning. Now I have a basic knowledge of wine and I enjoy my wines, like time to time, especially, like wines are also very good to accompany your mood, like based on your mood, you always could find a nice liquid to follow you, let's say.
So as a Italian, have you ever tried in Croatia Napoletana pizza? No.
Well, I tried today.
So?
Yeah, it was good.
Good?
Oh, wow. Like
that's it, like.
Very good. Very good pizza. Then, of course, 2 weeks ago, I've been in Naples, like to the temple of pizza. And the game, it's another thing, but you made a pretty good pizza. I enjoy it. I wish all the pizza I tried were like the one of today.
Okay, great. Okay, Matteo, thank you very much for coming here. It's been 1 hour, right? It's around 1 hour. Amazing.
Done. We spot on.
Yeah. Matteo is a little bit tired because he needs to work for another shift.
As usual.
Thank you for coming. It was a pleasure. It was a great masterclass today. I know next time when you'll come
absolutely
to a new podcast.
Let's do it.
In the new room, I hope so. We'll be smoking cigars and talking about whiskey.
That sounds absolutely yes for me. Thank you very much for the invite. Like this was my first podcast, so I hope to have respect your expectations.
Of course.
And especially the expectation of our future audience. And yeah, it was a nice conversation to talk a little bit about myself, to exchange with you and with the community that will follow us.
It's a nice story.
Good luck with the rest of your projects, and thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you, brother.
I'll see you soon, brother.
Thank you. Hvala svima što ste nas pratili još u ovom novom podcastu, prvom i jedinom takvom na engleskom za sada. Ako hoćete da dovezemo još ovakvih divnih gostiju izvana, iznutra, od bilo kuda, pratite nas, subscribe-ite nas, lajkajte nas i to je to. Šerajte malo, pokažite. To je to. Živjeli. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Adios.